Okay guys, quick video on if you have this motor in your Chevy Equinox and you need to replace the idler and the tensioner. This thing's making weird noises at startup, and I got looking underneath there and it looked to me like that tensioner was vibrating quite a bit and would tell me the bearing was probably going out in it. So I bought the parts and I'm going to put the belt, the idler, and the tensioner on, okay, which I've already done, but just want to run through you, because I could not find any videos on this particular model, because this is the V6, the 4 cylinders. It's a lot easier because there's a hole right here in the wheel well that, if you look here, there's a hole right there, and that's where the idler bolt normally goes, but it doesn't get you to the idler or to the tensioner on the V6 model. I could not find anything anywhere on it. So real quick, here's a rundown on how you want to do this thing. At least I haven't started yet, so hey, I could be completely wrong, but here it is. Okay, so I jacked the car up and then I put on jack stands because you're going to need that jack later. So you got to remove the airbox, and when you're removing the airbox, you got 2 connectors on here. And this connector, I'm guessing, is the mass airflow, but you've got to pull this white clip back and then push down on this for this clip to release, okay? So without that, this thing is not going to go anywhere. Second one, this one goes down here on the airbox. This one has to, if you look on the back of here, right in here, you see that little groove? Underneath this tab, stick a screwdriver in there and you'll press down and it will release it from this pin right here. Okay, so you'd be pressing down on that basically, and then it'll pull right out. Okay, I couldn't find anything on those connectors on YouTube. So you got that free. Undo your clamp on your intake. Put a towel in here, a big towel, and remember to take it out, because your throttle body or your butterfly is right in there. You drop something in there and you're gonna be in trouble. Okay, it is closed, but you might not realize you dropped it in there. To take the airbox out, 2 bolts here right on the back, and then this rubber bushing just pushes into this hole, so it pops right out. Okay, then to get to everything, you're gonna have to support the transmission on the bottom, the engine on the bottom. I put a big 2x6 sideways, and then support the engine. Okay, you're not gonna lift it, you just want to support it. And then I removed, I would take off these bolts first. I didn't actually do that, but I would remove them first, because you don't want to be removing these under tension. Like if you don't have the motor supported enough, or you've got it too much, you could get these at a weird angle, and I would release them all at about the same rate, so that if you do have it in a bind, like, you're not going to pull the threads out of one. So because if you just left one bolt in there and you relieve the other 2, you got all the force of this thing on one fastener. So you just want to take them all up evenly. Okay, so once you've done that, you've got these loose, these 2 bolts, you got those loose, motor mount will come out. All right, then you want to take take your bar, and this is about all that will fit in there, guys, because you will not, I don't believe, get a ratchet in there for this thing. I'm sure they make a special tool, but that's a 1/2-inch drive, and everybody knows how these tensioners work, but it'll go right in this hole. Okay, now it doesn't have a lot of play in it. I mean, it'll move enough to get the belt off, but I pulled the belt from the idler pulley because it's smooth and just pulls off the easiest. All right, and I remove the belt. Then what you're gonna have to do is, you're gonna have to, in order to get to all the bolts that are on the idler, because the tensioner has 1, 2, 3. Okay, the idler pulley is in the way of this bolt coming out. So you'll probably have to pull this thing, and it's in there pretty tight. So you have to pull this out. Now, here's a problem. Guess what it does? It hits right here, right in the meat of this frame, or the subframe up here. The bolt will not come out of the idler pulley. So you have to, well, I did anyway, is I lifted the motor up with that jack that I got on it enough to clear the side of this, and then it was able to release it. Okay, it's in the hole, so it will not, like, you can't jiggle it out, man. I mean, it's gonna have to come out the other way. It's got to come out through this direction here. So took that out. Then you're able to remove the 3 bolts that are in the tensioner. Then, of course, putting it right back in, back the way it came out. The idler or tensioner, all 3 bolts there. I put a little bit of blue on them, just not much. But those were torqued to 18 pounds. And then I did all this while the motor's still up, of course. And then the idler pulley, then it goes on. And I put it at 44 foot-pounds, okay? Because that one's pretty tight. And you'll have a hard time getting that off of there, too. I had to put a wrench on a wrench to get that thing out. It's pretty tight. So once I've got them back in place, then you got to put the belt back on the motor, okay? And figuring that you know how the belt goes in there, okay? So I made a little drawing. I couldn't find a schematic under the hood, even though there's supposed to be one. Then I may be looking right at it somewhere, and I just don't know. But anyway, I made a little drawing. So that's it right there, okay? So putting the belt on, fished it through. I got everything on there except where it was going over the idler, and then I pushed tension on it, I push it that way, and then I was able to slide it onto the idler pulley. Once it's on there, I went around and verified that the belt was in the groove on every pulley that goes on this thing, because it's real easy to miss. And in all honesty, I accidentally put the old belt back on it, so I had to do it twice. So got the belt back on it. Then I came in and I put in reverse. I went ahead and I blew the holes out in these because there's some aluminum in there, and these things, aluminum threads, they're sketchy at best. Went ahead and put these back in, and a little bit of blue, because it looked to me like the factory had some red on there, but blue holds just as good, honestly. And so put them in. I torqued those to 50 foot-pounds. I use foot-pounds. I know they're metric, but I use foot-pounds because I'm an American. So bolted all them down. I brought all them down even. It may not be, you might have to move it a little bit, get a pry bar to get that thing just in place. Just make sure you get them in straight and that they're threading by hand initially, because you do not want to strip this thing off. Got them in, torqued them down. Then I lowered the motor just gently onto to where this motor mount was on these pads. Put these back on, and I torqued those to 55 foot-pounds. Okay. Now, putting the airbox back on it, and hopefully it will run. So, I just thought this video would have been useful for me before I tried to do this. So, I thought I'd just make one. I might get 2 views on it, but hey, I was in here already. So, hope it helps somebody. Peace out.